May we please start? Your time expires at 10 minutes before 4. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lieutenant General Fani. Chair, I want to emphasize that one. Today we have a doctor in our midst. And when he arrives here, he arrives as a doctor and he will leave here as a doctor as well. Good afternoon, sir. The doctor is busy there.
Honorable Chair, I'm listening attentively.
Because we are alone. Normally we are used to witnesses, especially at your level, who brings legal team. You know, at the back there, I could see that you can do things for yourself. You know, others who came in here before you, they normally have, a legal team behind them. But today, I've just seen you are the only person and with from government who came here alone. And I want to give you a thumbs up on that. That normally we have seen people coming with a lot of people here. Now, you explain to us in terms of the procedural compliance of this award, in particular the Ket Matlala one. Am I right?
Correct, Honorable Chair.
Lieutenant General, you confirm that SAP's procurement is strictly governed by the National Instruction 9 of 2020, delegated of an authority documents and SAP's procurement framework. Am I correct?
Among others, correct.
And none of those instruments were suspended or varied on this tender. Am I right? None of these instruments were suspended or varied for this tender. Yes or no?
Correct. Yes.
Was this tender included, duly approved on annual procurement plan submitted by the National Treasurer?
It was part of the plan.
Do you have any documentation showing the Treasurer accepted the plan without reservation?
The requirement from National Treasury is for us to submit the plan, and they acknowledge having received the plan. And on periodic basis, which is quarterly, then we must furnish additions to the plan or deviations to the plan and the progress to the plan. And we are complying to that requirement.
I'm going to rephrase my question once again. Do you have any documentation to show that Treasury accepted the plan without any reservation?
Honorable Chair, the process from National Treasury is to accept receipt, and if there are concerns, they will highlight those concerns. There is normally no written approval of the plan on record, and the answer is no. We do not have such, but the report was received, and we are providing feedback on quarterly basis based on that plan. The assumption is that the plan was accepted because they have not indicated any deviations.
So there was no reservation from Treasury?
Nothing received by my office from them.
Bid specification committee, in terms of legitimacy, I'm going there now. You stated that the BSc members were nominated by HRM and demand management and approved by you, am I right?
Correct.
Did you independently verify their competency?
The letter that appointed the individuals from HRM did indicate that they have the competence. We wrote to them and say they must appoint competent people, and the letter came back and says they are competent. I'm forgetting the word that was indicated there to indicate the high level of competence that they have. If I find it in the attachments, I will indicate it to you. But that's the expectation, and that's what was confirmed.
So you approved that plan without any hesitation because you were sure of the competency.
Not only the competence, Honorable Chair, but also the level of seniority of the members and the experience they have in the field of work that they are in.
But today we are finding ourselves wanted, irrespective. Regarding this tender of Ket Matlala, am I right?
Correct.
Did you receive any objection or red flag concerning about the BEC composition before the tender was advertised?
No, Chair.
Were the specifications reviewed by legal service or any internal audit before advertisement?
It is not the requirement in the process. The answer is no, Chair.
Now, you just said that you, at that time, you did not have the probate team, am I right?
Correct, Chair.
And why?
I don't have an answer to that. I think at that time we relied on the embedded quality assurance processes that we had, and later we picked up that those embedded quality assurance processes were not sufficient, and then we needed to have more levels of quality assurance. We may have to review these levels and squeeze them down so that we may have a streamlined and a shorter procurement process, because we're now going to have very tedious levels in the process. We just have to be left with a level that provides us with the quality assurance that we require. At the moment, we have added the property audits to provide us with that assurance.
Now, the internal audit alleged that the tender was advertised for 20 days instead of the 21 days. Do you still maintain that the advertisement meant the minimal legal threshold?
It was for 20 days, which was in contravention with the administrative functions as included in the regulations of Treasury.
So am I correct that they've breached the normal tender system?
Regulation, yes.
And what is the consequence management regarding that?
Each member or each functionary or each group that has been found to have transgressed the regulations would have to be subjected to a consequence management process. And that consequence management process will start as soon as we have finalized the forensic investigation of this matter. You would note the feedback that was given by the National Commissioner that disciplinary processes for any of the members that were part of any of the committees would be put in abeyance until such time that the forensic investigations is concluded.
You know what is amazing, Doc? You might not have been there then, but the people who were evaluating the bid for blue lights were arrested. Am I right?
I'm informed, and yes, they were.
They were arrested. Do you agree?
As far as I have knowledge, yes, they were.
But Brigadier Jonker, Lieutenant Colonel Malan, Captain Cartwright, and the list is endless. Major General, there's a certain name which I'm not sure whether it's German, Zinge Melier. Those people and others were not arrested. Am I right for this tender?
I have not looked at the details of the people that were involved. It happened prior to my time, but I do know that that tender people were arrested for having contravened one area or the other.
Yeah, but this one, I'm talking about the one which is cancelled now. This one, not the blue light. I'm talking about these members that who were evaluating this tender, this one in particular, the Ket Matlala one. They are still roaming free.
I'm not privy to the determination test that was done, and I'm not privy to the disciplinary process they underwent at the time. I would not comment on that at this moment, Chair.
Thank you. Internal audit says that the BEC lack appropriate skills. You disagree, or do you agree with that?
I have indicated that the appointment was explicit that they are knowledgeable, and the seniority of the individual and the time they have spent.
But sorry, Doc. Do you agree or you don't agree with that? The internal audit is the one which says that. Your internal audit.
My determination of competence was the confirmation of those who nominated them to be part of the BEC. How the internal audit arrived at the incompetence, I cannot respond to that.
So in other words, your internal audit, you don't have a trust in your internal audit.
We do disagree from time to time, but we do have a sound relationship.
Did you personally verify the qualifications or experience of these BEC members before approving their appointment?
No, Chair.
Internal audit, again, found no individual scoring sheets. Can you confirm whether such sheets existed at any point?
In this tender?
Yes.
I have not gone to that level to check. I have only received a consolidated report. And the reason why I'm giving that answer, Chair, is that I have not had full access to the records. I have been out of office for the last 2 months on training. I only had yesterday to come and verify some of the information. It could be there, but I cannot vouch for its existence or its non-existence. Had I had an enough opportunity to go through all the documents, I would have been in a position to have a clear answer.
Let me put it to you. If they do not exist, how did the BEC comply with the requirement of each member to evaluate independently on this tender? Besides that, you were out of office. I guess before you went on leave or whatever, you should have known that, because we are talking about something which has happened, I think, 6 to 8 months ago now. Am I right?
No, I've been gone for 2.5 months. Honorable Chair, in my evidence, I have indicated that in instances where there are thresholds to be met, an individual scoring would have been expected and a consolidation then done, and that would have, the consolidated would then have found prominence in the evaluation report that gets submitted to BAC. In this instance, the methodology that was used could be proper, spoken to by the evaluators, but what we have received as bid adjudication committee is the consolidated report of the evaluation of the bid evaluation committee, duly signed by members of the bid evaluation committee.
Yeah, but there were a lot of defects. Procedural defects are so airy in this tender, and I think you must accept that. I don't want to go deeper because it will eat a lot of our time. But they are there. It's clear that there's a lot of wrong things which happened to this Matlala tender here.
The errors that were picked in the evaluation process, I agree to some of those, and unless those that I have explicitly indicated I don't agree to. But in total, this tender should have not been awarded. That's what I had said in my evidence.
Now, you know, I wanted to ask for documents which will show us what exactly happened. But I'll ask, did SARS check whether Media 24 or Mr. Matlala himself had ever been flagged by any organ of the state before the award?
Yes, we have.
And what was the result?
Not flagged.
I'm sorry?
Not flagged.
At all?
At all.
Now, did SARS verify any third-party arrangement on this issue? I think the evidence leader asked about it in terms of franchise agreement or ownership structures before this award.
Chair, I have spoken to that I have no knowledge of existence of such. In fact, the audit report has indicated that there is such an evidence in the document, but it was not duly signed by the franchisee. So there is such an arrangement, but it is not fully or completely signed by the franchisee. I'm not sure whether the franchisor signed it, but in terms of the audit report, it exists, but it was not signed.
Now, your internal audit says the facilitators created a corruption risk. Did you ever receive any prior audit cautioning against the use of, in this tender? Because remember, as a BAC chair yourself, where you certify about all these matters which I've raised here, did you satisfy yourself that all the boxes were ticked?
In as far as the report is concerned, in as far as the bid specification is concerned, we have satisfied ourselves, and we have relied on assurance as well as an additional cushion. The issue of facilitators as a risk has never been flagged with me. It only has found prominence in this audit report, and it is something that I'm going to work on to make sure that how do we then assign those responsibilities in a process, because those responsibilities has to be done.
Thank you. Let me come to the ministerial power. General, you agree that the PMFA vests the accounting officer, not the minister, with responsibility for procurement compliance, correct?
Yes, PFMA is an administrative act.
Did the minister issue a written directive to halt or cancel the tender?
The engagement and the...
General, let me ask this question again, because otherwise sizobuyela lapha kule nto yaka Dr. yaka Mrs. Dehas. Did the minister issue a written directive to halt or cancel the tender? Yebo noma cha?
Do you want to deprive him of his doctorate?
I have not seen any directive nor written confirmation from the minister instructing for cancellation.
So you don't know?
I don't know.
Which is what is some, Doc? Which is what is some? You are a divisional commissioner. You should have known by now whether the minister, was this a minister's directive or the national commissioner's directive to cancel the tender?
The matter is an administrative matter, and
thank you.
The accounting officer ought to have cancelled the tender, not the minister.
Now, the National Commissioner wrote to media 2024, Medicare 24, on March 24, 25, requesting reason why the contract should not be terminated. Do you remember that?
I was informed, yes.
Was this done because of the ministerial directive?
It was done as a result of the internal audit report that has highlighted the defects in the process.
Not the minister?
Not as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah, because you said you don't know, I remember.
Yes.
Was the BAC consulted before the cancellation was initiated?
No.
So they left you in the limbo?
Correct.
Was the legal service consulted before the cancellation was initiated as well?
It is my understanding that internal audit and legal services worked on the cancellation process.
Do you accept that ministerial intervention in this procurement award process can be amount to unlawful interference if not grounded in the PMFA? Am I right?
I have indicated that the Minister Mkunu at the time was concerned about the reputation of South African Police Service, and he needed an explanation. And as a result of that, the National Commissioner was asked to look into the matter, and he instituted investigations. The involvement of the Minister after that meeting is unknown to me. I never had a subsequent meeting after that with the Minister or any person relating to this matter.
My last one will be, you know now, if you were employed by SAPS from Treasurer, if I remember well, at the level of Lieutenant General, based on your qualification and experience, outside SAPS without policing experience, why the same process is turned into a criminal offense regarding the employment of Brigadier Mukwele and SAPS at SAPS crime intelligence, in your view?
I do not know the merits of the matter and the circumstances around the appointment of the other person. I do not have any view.
No, General, I know that you must close ranks, but I'm just asking to say, because you know that HR matter made some people to be arrested because I mean, it's not an allege. We know that the Brigadier Mukwele is not a trained policewoman. But as we are sitting here with you, we know that General Mukwanazi and other generals, I mean, General Kumalo and other generals were arrested. So you don't have a view on that?
If all the boxes, like they say in English, the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, there is no justification for arrest.
Thank you. Thank you, General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Breytenbach, your time starts now.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, General. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
There you-
Honorable Member, Honorable Chair.
So, you're a Lieutenant General in the South African Police Service.
Correct.
That's an extremely high rank.
Correct.
These days, there seem to be a lot of Lieutenant Generals. In my day, it was not quite so many. It was a rank that few people attained, but it appears that many people have now attained that rank. Nevertheless. And your job description is what exactly?
I'm the Divisional Commissioner of Supply Chain within the South African Police Service, with delegated responsibilities and other delegated responsibilities assigned to other members in other divisions, but the tender process remains mine. Governance, compliance, monitoring, evaluation remains mine, together with internal audit as an anchor.
It's quite a big job. A lot of work for one man.
Indeed it is.
It's also an important job that carries a large level of responsibility.
It deals with the purse of government.
Yes, it deals with taxpayers' money.
Sure.
And so it needs to be dealt with a great deal of circumspection.
Sure.
Now, what bothers me, generally, is that throughout the day today, you've been saying things like, in my assumption, these processes were followed. I assume that they were competent. And I don't certainly expect you to know everything about everyone. That would be unfair. But certainly with a tender the size of this, I would expect you to become quite hands-on with ensuring that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Did you do that?
We have been in the position to interrogate the information at our disposal. And based on what we have been in the position to adjudicate the tender, and we were satisfied at the Bid Adjudication Committee that indeed the I's and the T's have been dotted, have been taken care of.
I'm sorry, you appear to have misunderstood my question. Let me try again. Who is we? Are you referring to the royal we as yourself? Or are you talking about a group of people?
The Bid Adjudication Committee has members, and I'm part of the members of the Bid Adjudication Committee.
Presume you chair the Bid Adjudication Committee.
I am the chair. The role of the chairperson of the Bid Adjudication Committee is facilitation of the discussion in the committee, and all other responsibilities of the Bid Adjudication Committee make prominence in my function as well.
Where does the buck stop? With you?
The appointment of the Bid Adjudication Committee is that the Bid Adjudication Committee must adjudicate and award. It stops with the Bid Adjudication Committee, not me.
You're absolved of any responsibility.
The responsibility I have in the bid adjudication committee is exactly the same as the responsibility of other members in the adjudication committee.
General, you either don't understand me or you're sidestepping me deliberately. I asked you what your job was. I asked you what your responsibilities are. And I want to know where the buck stops for tender procedures in the South African Police Service, and it appears to be with you. I'm not referring to bid adjudication committees. We're talking about you.
The responsibilities with regards to procurement, I have some delegated functions, and some of the functions are with the accounting officer. The accounting officer has an ultimate responsibility, but he has delegated some of the functions to me, and I am carrying out those functions. The delegation of authority document clarifies other issues such as thresholds and whatever else that is clarified in that delegation documents.
So tell me then, who bears the responsibility? Which individual person, because there must be one, bears the responsibility for the mess that is this tender?
The irregular expenditure framework indicates that there must be a determination test done, and once the determination test has been done, there must be consequence management that's done. The determination test outcome or any other investigation will then determine who is at fault, and those people must then go through a consequence management process. The forensic investigation is underway, and once it is completed, we will then, with certainty, as indicated by the National Commissioner, we will then have certainty of who then takes the blunt with regards to the mess that we are in, if I were to quote what you said.
Yes, but I don't think anyone has any delusions about the fact that it's a mess. And someone is responsible for the wastage of a vast amount, yet again, of taxpayers' money. Would you agree?
Honourable Chair, one of the requirements of fruitless and wasteful expenditure is to determine whether there was value for money with regards to the tender, with regards to work that was done. The determination test was done. There was value for money. So the fact that the tender was irregular does not necessarily mean there was a wastage in terms of money. We did receive the service, and we have signed off the service that was received. It's critically important that the correct narrative is put out in the market, that irregular expenditure does not necessarily mean that money vanished. All that it means is that some of the legislative requirements have not been met, but the determination test determines whether there was value for money. And indeed, there was value for money. We have received services from the supplier, and there has been engagement with the supplier and the end user to determine whether the services were received and that money was paid. That misconception, I think we need to clarify. No money was wasted in this instant. However, the appointment of the supplier was irregular.
I'm not sure that it was irregular. I think that's probably putting it euphemistically. It certainly appears to me, and I'm sure other members here, that the appointment of the supplier was in all probability corrupt, which is a little more severe than irregular. Would you agree?
Until we receive the forensic audit, I will stick to what procurement prescripts determine, and which is irregular.
Yes. So you absolve yourself currently of all responsibility for this tender, the irregularity of it, and you don't consider it that it was your job to keep proper tabs on it.
My responsibility in this instance was to ensure that the bid adjudication committee does its job. In my opinion, the bid adjudication, with the information at their disposal, did the job. Whether there were other things in the bid evaluation committee, I must put it on record that because I'm the member of the bid adjudication committee. I cannot get involved in the bid. I'm the member of the bid adjudication committee. I cannot get involved in the bid evaluation committee matters. I have specifically stayed away from bid evaluation committee matters. If I do get involved in the bid evaluation committee matters, I must recuse myself at the bid adjudication committee. The procurement prescripts are very clear with regards to that. What I probably would have to go and do on my return to office would be to find a way, have a discussion with the National Commissioner and recuse myself from the bid adjudication committee so that I can make sure that the process right up to bid evaluation committee is done seamless. But the current setup does not give me permission to fiddle around with the bid evaluation committee. I'm not involved in the bid evaluation committee. I would have then transgressed because I can't be an evaluator and adjudicator at the same time. That's why we have put a layer of quality assurance to ensure that the quality is done properly. But that's a discussion I'll have with the National Commission upon my return to office.
Yes, well, that doesn't appear to have worked too well. Nevertheless, the Auditor General found with a specific bid that you think the bid adjudication committee did their job and did it properly and everything's hunky-dory. The Auditor General found that, in fact, there were 2 areas of non-compliance with this particular bid, yet it was still awarded. I'm sure you're aware of that. If you're not, I'll help you.
The involvement of the Auditor General. The Auditor General's involvement.
General, please, you talk a lot. You take a long time to answer relatively simple questions, and you're actually wasting time. And I'm not talking about the involvement of the Auditor General. So listen carefully. The Auditor General found in this process that you say the bid adjudication committee did their job. He found 2 areas of non-compliance. Are you aware of it?
The audit, we have provided the Auditor General with the report, and they also audited post-award. Prior to the award, the Auditor General had not looked at the matter. They personally came to me during the auditing cycle and requested the documentation, and I provided the documentation. They would not have been aware of the process prior to us having found out through our own internal processes that it had irregularities. I do not agree.
Well, the Auditor General found that the bid was awarded to a supplier who did not meet all of the phases of the evaluation criteria. And he found that the tender was not advertised for the 21 days as required by procedures.
The internal audit report had already picked up on those. The Auditor General picked up already what had been picked up by internal audit.
So then
and we have spoken to that.
So then explain to me why you think it is that the bid adjudication committee did such a wonderful job.
The bid adjudication committee, Honorable Chair, with the information at their disposal, adjudicated this tender. And the information at the disposal of the bid adjudication committee, I'm of the opinion if it was to be given to any other person, they would arrive at the same conclusion. What the bid adjudication committee did not know about was irregularities that happened which did not filter through in the report. And that is what we have highlighted in this committee earlier on, that we need to look into that. I think the evidence leader has probed on that one, that some of the irregularities that filtered in the report, if they were not picked up by internal audit, the report, and they do not find prominence in the report, they would not have been picked up. And I have indicated, yes, and I have indicated that...
No, you've already answered my question, yes. Thank you. You can't just ramble on for as long as you feel like. I have no more questions. Chair, I'm saving the time for the Honourable Cameron, who has many questions to ask.